欢迎使用 Google 地图。
secret, they had power over me, and there was threats then to go public, and not just by public telling people down the pub, by telling a tabloid newspaper that would then potentially publicise it, and then become really fearful because, you know, imagine not having told your immediate family and they buy a newspaper on a Sunday morning and you're on the front page saying that you have HIV and you haven't had the chance to tell and explain to your closest and loved ones that this is what happened. So it was a case of basically I had to find the courage to come to terms with it and find the courage to be able to do it in my way and the most powerful way possible. I felt it might sound a bit of a cliche, but I felt like I had one match and I wanted to make the biggest, most positive explosion with that one match that I could. And that's what I chose to do.
And the messages, many messages of support for you in the days since this became public. How much have they meant for you? Do you feel that perhaps we are in a different time from what you feared for all that time when you kept this a secret?
Do you know what? I feel there's still a huge lack of knowledge about what I kind of I feel it is that there's not a judgmental side of people that I potentially thought was there. There's a very positive side of people, and I think regardless what you've got to say, as long as you're honest about it, I feel then people can take whatever it is, as long as you're being honest about it, because the reaction that I've had has been overwhelming. And it's not, you know, this is not ever was about me. It's about everybody who lives with HIV and is also affected by HIV, as in people's families who are living with HIV, friends of somebody who's living with HIV, because we might not think it, but there's probably the majority, you know, of people somewhere with 7 degrees of separation has somebody who might be hiding the fact that they're living with HIV because of the fear of lack of knowledge.
Gareth Thomas, thank you very much. And HIV and Me is on BBC One at 9 o'clock in Wales tonight and 10:35 elsewhere.
It is now 29 minutes past 8, and here's Rob with the sport.
John, thanks. Well, another former Welsh Rugby Union international in the news this morning, with the news that was shot both within the Wales squad in Japan for the forthcoming World Cup and also at home with the news that assistant coach Rob Howley is alleged to be in breach of betting and anti-corruption regulations. He's back in Wales and cooperating with the Welsh Rugby Union inquiry. The WRU chairman Gareth Davies is unable to shed any light on what Howley might or might not have told them about his innocence, but says Howley is receiving the union's full support.
进入圆环，在圆环处于第一个出口下交流道，驶出圆环。
Chelsea 0, Valencia 1 and Napoli 2, Liverpool 0. Hardly the start that English clubs were hoping for in this season's Champions League.
进入圆环，在圆环处于第二个出口下交流道。
Foul by Andy Robertson, unjustly, said Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp.
I'm pretty sure there are different views on that situation.
驶出圆环。
But when the player jumps before there's contact, then it cannot be a penalty. We cannot change that anymore, so that's how it is. Carry on. That's it.
Well, correspondent John Murray was at the game and is on the line now from Italy. Morning to you, John. Jumps before there's contact, said Klopp. That's another way of saying the Napoli player dived, of course. Does Klopp have a case, not only against the player and the referee, but also against VAR?
Well, I think Liverpool, you know, they were genuinely aggrieved that the penalty decision was not overturned by VAR. They certainly had grounds that it was a dive by the Napoli player Callahan, but there was contact on it from Andy Robertson, Liverpool defender, and the VAR call was that it was not a clear and obvious error or penalty by the on-field referee, but clearly Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp begged to differ with that. They did lose, Liverpool, remember, here in Naples in their first away match in the competition last season and went on to win the trophy, of course. But I think with Red Bull, Salzburg and Genk, the other teams in the group, Liverpool really should have the wherewithal to get through this to the knockout stages, although they might struggle to finish above Napoli now.
Yes, yes. Just thinking about Jurgen Klopp, I mean, he says he's not a bad loser, and he's not, is he really? He tends to accept these decisions with a certain balance.
Yes, he is.
围靠右走，靠右行下交流道。
whether to overturn the penalty or not.
下交流道。
With VAR, because it's entirely possible in some of the matches tonight there'll be similar incidents that are overturned, and so we are still in a position
向左转。
where VAR is settling down.
Well, Chelsea should have got a draw against Valencia and would have if Ross Barkley had converted his penalty, but both Tottenham and Manchester City are away this evening. English football really needs something of a boost this morning, doesn't it?
I know, which is strange to say when there was such domination last season, but both Liverpool and Chelsea to lose on the opening night, having won the two trophies, the two European trophies last season, was a surprise, and it's a reminder that you cannot let your standards slip in the Champions League, and it's a warning for Tottenham, Manchester City, who start out this evening. They play one after the other. Spurs are in Greece to play Olympiacos at a 5:55 start. City in Ukraine to play Shakhtar Donetsk, with only one fit senior out-and-out central defender because of an injury to John Stones, which is far from ideal for them.
And of course coverage on BBC Radio 5. John Murray, thank you very much. That takes us to our tips. Sandown 150 number 5, Entar, Beverly 440 6, Tan.
Thank you, Rob. This morning at 9, Gemma Kearney is on a musical odyssey.
Loyal Kana is one of the UK's most exciting rap artists, and he's been nominated for both the Brit and Mercury Awards. Though he has Guyanese heritage, he's never been to Guyana. And for Radio 4, he's made his first trip there to collaborate with the leading champion of Guyanese culture. Keith Wave is a flautist and composer, and his music captures the sounds of the Guyanese tropical rainforest. It was a trip in which Loyal discovered more about his identity and how the music of Guyana can influence his own work. Hear how they achieved a musical collaboration in this week's The Sound Odyssey with me, Gemma Kearney, on BBC Radio 4 this morning at 9.
And the weather, it'll be dry and fine with lots of sunshine and a few patches of cloud.
You're listening to Today on Radio 4 with John Humphreys and Michelle Hussein. It's 27 minutes to 9. Susan Ray has a summary of news.
The main challenger to the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has said he would work towards a government of national unity after yesterday's general election. Exit polls suggest Benny Gantz's centralist alliance is slightly ahead of Mr Netanyahu's Likud party, with neither winning enough seats to form a government. The Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, has said his party would negotiate a new leave agreement with the EU if it wins the next general election, and then put that to a vote along with the Remain option. His comments in The Guardian come just before the party's annual conference. The Prime Minister has urged Saudi leaders to work with allies to agree a collective response to the attacks on the country's oil facilities, which have been blamed on Iran. In a phone call to the Crown Prince, Boris Johnson said Britain was committed to Saudi Arabia's security. The former International Trade Secretary, Liam Fox, told this parliament that the Iran nuclear deal was dead and that strong economic sanctions should be implemented. The government has launched an investigation into the £4 billion takeover of the UK aerospace giant Cobham to a US private equity firm. The Business Secretary, Andrea Leadsom, has asked the competition watchdog to assess the implications because of concerns about national security.
The time is now 25 to 9. Israel's general election appears to have delivered another inconclusive result, more so than in April when Prime Minister Netanyahu's efforts to form a coalition ended in failure. This time, neither he nor the alliance led by his main rival Benny Gantz appear to have won enough seats in the Knesset to form a government. Let's talk to Jeremy Bowen, our Middle East editor, who's on the line from Israel. Jeremy, what are the likely possible outcomes then?
Well, there are a few. I think the most certain thing right now is weeks and weeks and weeks of wrangling. There's a process that happens.
继续执行。
The final results will probably come out this afternoon. They look to be inconclusive insofar as no one party can form a government.
请准备向左转。
What is really, I think, significant about all of this is that it's a real blow to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who was hoping for
向左
an
转。
outright majority for his party and its allies, which, among other things, might have given him a vote of immunity from prosecution in the 3 very serious corruption cases that he's facing. He's due to deal with those in court at the beginning of October.
Does it seem that that was the decisive thing that turned voters away from him within these last 5 months?
I think it was part of it. The election was a referendum on Mr. Netanyahu, Israel's longest-serving prime minister. He was prime minister in the 90s, and then for the last 10 years. So everything that's happened on his watch, and there are a lot of Israelis who think that he has cheapened debate, that he's corrupt, that he peddles the politics of fear. There are others who think he's absolutely marvelous, and that he's the strong leader that Israel needs, and that is the message he was trying to put out, and he will still try. To get involved in negotiations for some kind of coalition government, and I'm certain that he will still try to be the Prime Minister designate, trying to put that together. But there's a process now in which the party leaders of the small parties will recommend to the President who it is they think should be the person who forms the government. And there is one kingmaker in all of this, a politician called Avigdor Lieberman. Did pretty well last night, it seems, and there are some indications that he might ask Benny Gantz, the leader of the Blue and White opposition party, that he might suggest that he is the one who should try, first of all, to form the government. And that, of course, would be a massive blow for Mr. Netanyahu.
Jeremy, thank you very much. And listening to that is Sharon Haskell, a member of the Knesset for Likud and a member of the party's Foreign Affairs and Defence Committee. Good morning.
Good morning.
And I think you yourself have been re-elected to the Knesset, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
What do you make of the picture for your party, though Mr. Netanyahu is in a weaker position than he was 5 months ago?
Yeah, obviously we are disappointed from the results. We're still hopeful because they haven't finished counting the votes. But it seems like none of the parties of the bigger party have an option to build a coalition. Look, at the end of the day, it's not very different from the result that we received just a few months ago. We will try to build a coalition. Right now, Netanyahu will have more members or more parties to recommend him as the next prime minister as well. And obviously, we need to do what's the right thing for Israel.
Will you, as the Likud, consider a coalition with Benny Gantz's alliance, with Blue and White, perhaps? You know, the price of that would be that Mr. Netanyahu is not the Prime Minister, but is it something the party might consider?
Look, obviously everything is on the table in Israeli politics, but some things like in building a coalition. So definitely blue and white will come to considerations as well. But there's certain things that they will not be able to bend us on. There's a difference between the Likud party and the blue and white party of Benny Gantz, and it is that in blue and white party, also other parties like Lieberman's party, who's right now holding most of the power, the people who are choosing the members, the people who are choosing the leader of those parties are one person alone. This is either Benny Gantz or either Lieberman. The Likud party is a different type of party. We are a democratic party, and it is only the members of the Likud party who will choose who's going to lead this party. We are firm in our state that it is not Benny Gantz who's going to decide who's going to lead, our party, the Conservative Party of Israel, and it's definitely not Lieberman, and so he's